Yep.
What is up, Mr. Penkert?
I'm checking deadline day transfer news.
I was just going to ask you. You've been hiking in the Swiss Saxon mountains, and you've come back right in time for deadline day. What are your hopes? What do you think will happen? I assume nothing for Munich, no?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Munich transfer business is pretty much done since weeks, so for me it's a relaxed time. But I'm a curious observer, checking what your team is doing and a bunch of others. You finally managed to spend a lot of money on not so many players.
I think United's approach to transfers is, how can we spend more on this player? Like, what's the best way to increase the price? We've seen this from the first transfer that happened after Sir Alex. Marouane Fellaini was available at the start of the summer for 25 million. United ended up spending 31 million at the end of the summer to get him in 2 days or the day before the transfer deadline. From the first signing, that has been the agenda, and it has continued very successfully since then. Yeah. 100 million.
I mean, at least you're getting good players. Casemiro, Anthony, so good ones. Who else is an option?
We've got a backup goalkeeper in Martin Dubravka, who just closed for 5 million. Apparently, there is still a deal on the table for. It's possible. I don't think it is really, but Frankie De Jong, because he has to leave Barcelona. Somebody has to do something for that poor guy.
So today?
That's the only way, because I don't
think so.
see what. Yeah, I mean, I think it's ridiculous. But there have been a few rumors that maybe that's one big last-minute move that might happen either for Chelsea or for United. And the other last-minute, which is also a rumor, I don't think will actually happen, is the Ronaldo move, which is linked to AC Milan, is the last one, who, of course, announced today that LeBron James owns, him along with Drake and a bunch of others bought AC Milan today, right? 1.2 billion euros. Red Capital finally was an asset that is from Elliott Management, I remember. So that news came in. So maybe as a big statement signing, they want to bring Ronaldo in. But I don't see it. I don't think that's happening. I think it's a bit nonsense. So hopefully United will have a calm day. But some big news, some big interesting stories.
Talking about big news, and you introduced the sports element, investment element of our show already. Let's kick it off, huh?
Yeah.
I believe, by the way, today is going to be a quick show. We've gone through the news, nothing too big, but a few things to highlight.
Yep.
As always, let's start with some funding stuff. The biggest one, and that's massive from the numbers, is that Seatgeek raised 238 million from a bunch of people that are familiar to the business of Seatgeek because they have invested before. Excel, Wellington Management, Arctos Sports Partners, and so on and so on and so on. So nothing new in that area. Also, I mean, just a brief overview of what Seatgeek does. They have over 200 clients across sports and entertainment, and they have different areas. So they're not only, as you might think, a ticketing solution. They want to be more. And I mean, of course, those press releases always phrase it in a very nice way. So they say they are on a mission to transform the live event experience for fans, teams, and venues. So they have consumer marketplace, innovative primary ticket box office technology, and so on and so on and so on. If you see what they want to use this capital for, it is especially, it's a bunch of things. So key areas, and I mentioned two. First of all, really, it's personalized event day experience platform. I have to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what it does, and I've never tested it or experienced it my way. So not only want to sell you a ticket initially on the primary market, so they also want to take care of you while you go to those events, which of course are an interesting field. And also highlight Seatgeek swaps, what they call the first return policy offered by a major ticketing platform. And what is more of a B2B angle is they also offer the entire ticketing ecosystem as an end-to-end solutions for teams and venues. All in all, big company, lots of stuff, all starting with the initial ticket sale, then some swapping, secondary market stuff, and you also having a good time during the event. Before I ask you for your opinion, quickly on to the second big funding round, where there's not too much to say, to be honest. It's Animoca Brands. It's not necessarily only a sports tech company, but we featured it heavily because, I mean, as the picture already shows you, they have a bunch of sports properties as well. That they've done some with MotoGP, some other motorsports related games they offered. I think the Formula E was involved at some point. They got 100 million more. They casually collect money here and there. They also spend a lot of money. By now they have over, what did it say? A portfolio of over 340 finance, gaming, and social media companies, which they have acquired in, less than 5 years. So more money in to spend more money. It's one of those cases where I think it's either boom or bust. Right now, I have no proper tendency between the two. But yeah, these are the two funding rounds. Ticketing, entertainment, experience giant, and a Web3 pioneer, let's put it that way. Anything you wanna add or comment on those?
The only thing that I was missing in those stories was the connection between the two, which was, I was surprised that in a 240 million raise, I didn't see the word NFT anywhere for a ticketing company. Yeah, I didn't, right? It's not that just I missed it. I don't think there was any mention of anything Web3 ticketing related. That was the only surprise that I had. But fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, regarding NFT tickets, I think it's a must-do for them as well. And I think last week or so, I can't remember correctly, but I think Ticketmaster announced that they are going to use the Flow blockchain. So that was an interesting one. Not entirely sure if that's true, but I think that's what happened.
I don't know if it was Flow blockchain, but I remember Ticketmaster announcing some sort of NFT partnership with the NFL. That was, I think that's an older one, bit of news, but last week also, you're right, there was something. So yeah, that was the only thing missing from my Seatgeek story, but otherwise, interesting to see lots more money pumping in. Sports Tech is having another good follow-up year, it seems.
Yeah, and by the way, today is September already, so we're not too far away from the VC report.
Yes.
2.5 more months or so, right?
Yeah, we just today, before this call, I had the VC report kickoff call with the team to get cracking on whatever we need to do. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch.
There we go.
Okay, so more tech and sports. This is super vague story, super vague, but it's some big names involved. And I mean, when beyond Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, don't get much bigger in sports, right? Well, in golf certainly. And they have announced that they are launching a sports media and technology company. Oh, I don't need to see the tweet. Sorry. A sports media and technology company called Tomorrow Sports. What exactly does Tomorrow Sports do? Apparently, according to their website, they harness technology to build progressive approaches in sport. Like lots of lovely jargon that lots of big consultants, I'm sure, or content writers created. But this is the website. It's that one line and the three of them. Mike McCarley, no idea who that guy is, but obviously a well-networked individual who I'm sure has great intentions for sports. But the idea is simple, that this is bigger names investing in sports tech properties. The only thing that this article and any other article that you find says is that their focus is around fans and how to take golf to, as always, younger audiences and get more drive engagement there. How they use technology to do it, God alone knows. But I did see this name, Tomorrow Sports, come up in a funding round already for a startup. Just yesterday, I read an article which was connecting another fund, which is an athlete-driven fund, which is Apex Ventures in Portugal, And Tomorrow Sports was mentioned that they have done some deals together. So maybe they're active as investors. Maybe they're launching some technology products. Who knows? Lots of vague, let's say, words here. But for now, it's Tiger Woods has got a sports tech company. There you go. And Rory McIlroy, sorry.
Congratulations, man. I mean, then they acted quickly if the news is from yesterday. I was wondering if can you go up to the slogan again to their no, to the website.
To the website, yeah.
Could that be a slogan for us as well? Would that fit to our company as well?
Sports. Well, I mean, we are somewhat entertaining. Ben, I'm very entertained usually.
I'm German.
I don't know about anybody else. Yeah. In the chat, hello. Tell us if we're entertaining. Maybe this is a good connection. But fair. I think.
Are we a progressive approach to sports? Would you say so?
I mean, I'm in a negative space. You're, black is connecting us. This is Berlin progressive, black and gray. I don't know.
Why not?
Why not?
Speaking about not really vague stuff, but let's say discussable stuff. Let's move on to the next one, because I don't know. There's not much else to comment on that. This story goes back a little bit. We've heard about it before, and it is heavily connected to Novak Djokovic, who every now and then connects himself to to interesting people and stories. And this time it's actual news. So we're speaking about the Professional Tennis Players Association, the PTPA. And what it basically is, it's a breakaway association to the actual Players Association. What was it called again? I think it's called the ATP Players Association or something. Yeah. So let's say the what do you say, the representative or representing body of all professional tennis players. I think it's only the male tennis players, right? It's not the female version, as far as I understood.
The WTA has a separate, yeah.
And so Novak Djokovic has initiated this breakaway association because he seems to be not so happy with what the ATP Players Association, or whatever it's called, is doing. And now he has raised $26 million, so quite a significant amount of money, to launch the commercial arm of this. And of course, because he's a busy guy, he doesn't do this alone. So he has connected himself again with some people from the sports industry. And I think the most interesting one to know is Ahmad Nassar, who you might still remember from the NFL and the NFL Players Association, or one team, what it was called back then. And they are creating an alternative for players, especially to what they say is maximize off-court commercial opportunities for players and agents. So basically, it's again about creating money, creating revenue, all of that. And it's a bunch of different things. And they also mention a so-called player services platform where it is designed to enhance professional players' journey in tennis by leveraging their group buying power and brand value. And a bunch of other stuff like benefits programs, insurance options, travel and logistics supports, tax advisory, attorney network, and so on and so on. So a bunch of stuff so that players don't have to do much on their own anymore, giving it to that association, and they are maximizing the financial side of things. And while this might sound interesting for some, that association is under criticism, especially from the other, let's say, big players like Rafael Nadal, Federer, and a bunch of others who are not supporting this association. Djokovic, however, says it is completely legal. They have checked everything, and with 26 million in their pockets, they're now going for it. So interesting that this is happening. What do you think? Is it a typical Djokovic move, who, I don't know, wants to think different? Does it make sense? What's your opinion?
First two questions are the investors vaccinated? And are they making a breakaway tennis league in Saudi Arabia or somewhere else? That's the first. You have to, because you have to think the straight away the parallel is with what Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson and all those guys are doing in the breakaway golf league, which has got so much bad press. But in fairness, jokes apart, Djokovic has already said this is non-exclusive. Like players can be part of the current ATP association. This is an additional body. There's no breakaway. There's nothing of that sort. This is purely commercial. Those are their priorities. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how they create it. I mean, it will be an interesting precedent. Like if there are official registered players associations which work in conjunction with the sports body. Every sport has this, but if any player can just make a breakaway association, then any player can have any number of associations, and this is more. It's a private commercial enterprise then, which is fair. Like a few players can get together and pull in some. Hey, we do some business together, rather than a players association. So I think that's the only question I have. Like they're trying to be official when it sounds just like a private body, maybe just a company that works together. What business they get up to with this money, we shall see. Maybe some
but
NFTs.
definitely, and and I mean, what they're saying is it's not a union. I would say, let's say the typical players associations are more in that direction.
Yeah.
So I think you put it very well. It's just a commercial endeavor, and people can join. So maybe you shouldn't even call it players association, more like, I don't know, players capitalization.
Yeah, like an athlete network or something like that, which we see a lot of. Maybe it'll be something like that. Okay, so moving on, some other networks that athletes could invest in is sports betting, of course. Sorry, there you go. Yeah, lots more betting news. Two big brands launching, let's say, betting related content properties. First, which is doing a terrestrial and OTT, so regular television channel plus an OTT streaming service, which is exclusively for sports betting. Yeah, we've talked about this. This has been coming from ESPN, from Disney. Well, ESPN is Disney, from NBC, from all the major broadcasters. And yeah, FanDuel is jumping on that bandwagon. So expect our interactive content. It'll include from horse racing and to basketball to, I'm sure, add on to a bunch of other sports. I think the interesting one for me is that it will be linear and digital. They didn't just go with an OTT service. They want to be in traditional television homes, which I guess is a different market within the US. I guess this is primarily US focused. It's watched by viewers on their phone in hand, but also by regular viewers, right? Horse racing will be a key component. Lots of hours. Yeah, nothing too much more interesting in this article. We'll jump to the next one. We covered this bit of news. I was checking in April of this year, and it's taken a while for it to become live. But the DAZN has finally soft launched, to clarify, a betting product which is focused in the UK. In April, we got the news that DAZN plans to enter the betting market in Europe and the UK, the EU and UK. But they're going to start with, which of course has a pretty well set betting market. So as you can see from the first initial pilot in the UK, with other European markets set to launch later in the year. They're going to interact betting and gaming offerings. The supplier is a company called Pragmatic Solutions. I did a quick Google and I couldn't find much. And some quotes that DAZN bet the start of an exciting journey across media and sports betting, blah, 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 blah. My question to you, Ben, is I had a key decision to make when I was presenting the story, that I could either choose between the money flying emoji, or there's the other emoji which has the green eyes and the green tongue sticking out. Do you think I made the right choice? Is it like greedy was better or money disappearing is better?
I mean, I'm disappointed that you didn't go for a racehorse, because
I missed the chance. Yeah.
In a long time did not cover anything equestrian-esque even.
That is true. I should have led with that. That's a good point.
Yeah. So my answer is neither was the right choice.
Damn it! I disappointed you, Benjamin, and that hurts me more than anything.
No, but I mean, what to add to those news? I mean, we talked about betting and content and all of that trillion of times. It's happening, whether we like it or not. I'm not planning to consume that content also because I'm not into sports betting.
The only thing I'll say is that we've talked about this actually in quite a few articles that we've written. That I mean, it almost feels like the revolution that's happening in sports betting in the US is happening only in the US, but that is absolutely not the case. Anything that happens in the US is going to travel across the pond and further across the world. We've seen talks of legalization in Brazil. We've seen talks of legalization in Japan. Both of those markets, I think, are legislation happening in India. Sports betting is going to be a thing everywhere, and everybody's getting in on the act. I mean, I don't know how regulation or who can do something to control this market, but it's a very slippery slope that we're sliding on.
Do you then think the DAZN is acting too slow?
I think it's an interesting question because I think the European market inherently is a bit slow in a lot of areas. We were talking about this even before this call, before we started the show, which is it just takes a bit of time. And specifically with the topic of betting, we've seen in the UK where sports betting has been legal for, I think, 40, 50 years or something. I'm sorry, I might be wrong, but for a long time. Even there, brands and sports teams are always should we not. In Spain, in Germany, there's always this equation. So I understand the DAZN's slow approach to say, hey, we do soft launch, we test, we check, how is everything working. So I don't think you can ever be too slow in Europe. I think Europe proceeds with a bit more caution, which maybe is the right approach. If they suddenly said, hey, bang, we're launching in 6 countries, maybe that would have been trickier for them.
Yeah, but then they're risking that others come in. But I guess the giants are busy with the North American market anyways for quite a while.
Yeah.
Sweet. Speaking about the North American giants, last news of the day, and I wouldn't say it's a weird one, but the outcome is interesting. So to start, or for beginners, so we talked about NFL Rivals a bunch of weeks ago. It's basically an arcade style game that the NFL has announced this year, and you have to build a team. It's some sort of fantasy manager, and you can win a bunch of prizes and stuff. And now connected to NFL Rivals, they have launched the Rarity League blockchain game and have announced a drop, the first NFT drop connected to that game. How that drop ties to the gameplay, I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, but what they have announced a couple days ago is that they've been dropping this sort of mystery box, which then turns into a helmet of the LA Rams or the Cincinnati Bengals, so the two teams that face each other during the Super Bowl. And that I can show you how that looks. Wait a sec. And yeah, one important thing is for each teams, they dropped 2,500 NFTs. The NFTs include over 500 different traits, so your helmets can look differently. They're going to extend it to the other 30 teams in the NFL as well, so that all teams will be covered. And each helmet costs, it is here somewhere, I think 0.14 Ethereum. Here we go. Yeah, this is it. And if you go, so that happened, or the news broke on August 30th, and I think yesterday they start selling the helmets. There's a fancy helmet, and somewhere here is the preview of what the helmet will look like. That was not the page. Let me check if I find this. Do you have the page somewhere by chance, or?
No, I don't have the link, but I saw it on this website.
Yeah, let me check. Maybe it's here. That is weird. I don't know. It was somewhere.
Anyway,
Um,
so for my first question, sorry, before you finish the story, was just in the title. I found this quite confusing. So NFL Rivals is a game, but Rarity League is a separate thing.
Yeah, exactly. So NFL Rivals is the game, and the league, as far as I understood, is basically where you get those helmets.
Right, and that's like
Yeah.
a collectible. It sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. So the NFL Rivals is the blockchain game, and the Rarity League is the drop, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let
my
me.
main takeaway was that it sounded to me like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the game itself is, I believe, said to be released like next year, sometime June or something. I'm not sure. So this was like a little drop, like just to whet the appetite almost. Like every, I guess, month or so, they will drop some new teams, uh, helmets, and you just buy some helmets. And somewhere I read that the helmets you can assemble into your team, which you use in the game. So there will be some connection, but right now it's not clear, right?
Yeah, you have to tie it into that somehow. And here's the
Yeah.
page, by the way, I found it. So as you can see, there are tons of different helmet designs. Uh, I'm not sure if this is appealing to fans. I don't know. For me, it looks a bit random. But I'm sure they have expected a better result when it comes to sales. So remember, I said 2,500 NFTs per team, and I'm sure they were like, they're gone in, I don't know, 1 hour, 0.14 ETH. Yeah, I don't think so. And as you can see somewhere, where was that again? Maybe that was on the other side. Let me check. Man, this page is confusing. Yeah, here. If you click buy now, I agree to everything. Wait a sec. Here I would have to connect my wallet, but as you can see,
Yeah.
there's 1,800 and 1,400 remaining from the respective teams. So in total, they have sold, I don't know, 800, not even 2,000 of the helmets, and I'm sure they're not going to sell out anytime soon. So I think the question marks that are in our heads are also in the heads of other fans. What the hell am I going to do with this? Rarity, yeah, we understand the concept, but what is it for? Plus, launching this in an absolute bear market leads to the result that we see here, which is it's not selling well. It looks like a random drop. You have no idea what to do with it, what to get back for it. And 0.14 ETH is also a significant amount of money. I mean, it's over 200 euro for digital helmet where you have no clue what to do with this. So I wouldn't say I would say a drop gone wrong. Let's see how I want to fix this.
Yeah, it's a curious case. I think you're spot on. And there's no clarity on anything, no clarity on even the website. I went through it. Well, I didn't spend so long, but I was like, I'm going to drop this as the number one story to A, because Ben loves talking about it and welcome back from his trek. But B, like, please explain it to me. Like, what is going on here? Like, I didn't really get it. So yeah, good to know that you're also not sure. Then nobody is. No wonder it's not successful.
But also this flow up here. I mean, this is, I'm sure, like, okay, we have to offer something special here. And if you mint, I mean, this seems to be the first mint, like the first drop. And if you mint the first 3, you get a bonus reward. I think it's somewhere it says you get a player. And then if you also do the 4th and the 5th, you get another player. So they want to make you buy a lot of stuff. But let's say if you are a fan of the Bengals, why would you go through 5 teams and have no clue what it's for? So I mean, the whole system is a bit weird. And I mean, the NFL also launched, I think you spoke about it last week, the NFL All Day, their NFT platform, which was live already a month ago, and now they announced it like it's live again. I don't. So it's all like the whole concept is a bit weird, to be honest. But what I do like is the NFL is embracing NFTs. Last year with all the free NFT tickets, which they're gonna do even more this season. So they experiment, but not always in the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing to add to that is, like, the thing that you explained, like buy one and buy two, it sounds like a bad version of like a Starbucks card or something, where you get the 10th coffee free. And this is like, I'm buying a bunch of different products that I don't even like, not even the coffee that I want. So I don't know. Let's see
You
where
can
this
get a
goes.
lot of coffee. You can get a lot of coffee for that one helmet, by the way, and you exactly know what you're getting.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Sweet. We talked longer than I would have expected us to talk today, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Some interesting things to cover. But yeah, that's it. Anything else? Anybody wants to say hi? I guess not. If not,
Let me check if anything happened on transfer market in the half hour that we've been speaking. Probably not, but you never know.
Probably. No, I think the only other interesting story from last week was Audi coming into Formula One. That announcement was pretty big.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
That should be a fun one. And Porsche is also on the way. So yeah, two big names. Formula One is really thriving.
I mean, out of Formula E into F1 seems to be the thing. And I also read an interesting article of the Formula One basically like vanishing or going away from Europe massively. So like also traditional races are potentially being put out. I've read that the Belgium Grand Prix might not even take place next year. That would be really sad. And I think Christian Horner said, I mean, there have some of the traditional ones have to be protected, like Monza, Spa, Silverstone, Monaco. I mean, it's a global product now, so the international or the other races on other continents are really good for the whole project. But I think some of the traditional ones have to be kept.
Yeah, I think it's a simple economics thing. I read somewhere that Spa spent over 30 million to just do up the track for this year, for 1 year. I don't know if that's true. I read a headline and I didn't have time to read the full story, so apologies if that's fake news. But that's the condition. It's Monaco, Spa, Magny-Cours. A lot of these tracks have this issue.
Question then, that if so for everyone who doesn't want to listen to this, was a good week.
Now Ben and I are just talking nonsense. Yeah.
Now we're talking a bit nonsense. No, can you imagine that someone is gonna go on a buying spree of F1 circuits, and maybe also we see some naming right deals, like it's the, I don't know, Hublot Monaco Grand Prix or something.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's no question that, let's put it this way, Formula One has always been a traditionally European sport or European first sport, right? It's not been that big in the US. The moment you bring the US in, it's everybody's eyes light green, right? Like not just the drivers, for everybody around the circuit as well.
Grass.
It's all about grass. Yeah. So it's the opportunities that it creates for legacy properties. The way you're seeing US come into European football in a big way, I'll be not surprised if suddenly US investors, exactly like you said, coming in to refurbish some tracks, get some VC money into some of these tracks to do them up right, get them into nice long-term contracts, because that's what it is. It's cost a lot of money for Monaco, for Spa, for Paul Ricard, for Hungaroring. A1 Ring is Red Bull. They're not going anywhere. But like Silverstone also is committed long-term. But a lot of these old tracks, Zandvoort, which is this weekend, there's also been talks that there'll be like a European rotation system. So Spa will happen 2 out of 3 years, and Monaco, so there'll be 6 or 7 spots for Europe, and they will rotate around between 9 or 10 tracks. But I think what you said is spot on. Some American VC will come in and say, there's so much money in Formula One in the US, let's pick up some European properties for cheap and host our own Grand Prix.
Let's see which one it's going to be first. Random side note, I've been to Zandvoort so many times in my youth, really? Not for racing purposes, but it's only a 4-hour drive from my hometown. It's basically the closest way to the ocean. So I've been there so many times.
That's my one big shame. I've still not gone to an F1 track or race. I've gone to a MotoGP track, but not to an F1 track, or certainly not a race. That has to change.
But man, let's do that. I'm joining you. I've gone once and only to the qualifying. I've never been to the race itself.
Let me check some calendars, because now we're back in the European swing. Maybe it's a bit too late already to get tickets, but I'll take a quick check and see what's available where.
Sounds good. We'll keep you updated on that, guys. Have a good week. See you
Whoever
next week.
stayed for this nonsense. All right, ciao.
Okay.